All right, now we are live on Amazon. So we have got two authors here of a expert collaboration book. And so we've got Laura DeFranco and Holly Jean Jackson. So let's get the real people on the screen and not those static
Yay.
images. So Laura and Holly, welcome to Amazon Live. We're also on a couple of other channels. So if people are watching out there and they want to interact on Amazon, I encourage you to do that. You can go to amazon.com/live and we're there. And what's going to be really cool is that the book that we're talking about, this book right here, the Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook. And again, this is an experts collaborative book. And it's just like this brain trust that comes together. Laura has been doing this for, well, I think we determined this as book number 84.
Yeah, 85.
85.
Yeah, it's, oh my gosh, I'm in love with these collaborations, honestly. And thank you so much for having Holly and I on tonight.
Yeah, two of,
Thank
how many
you.
authors did you have? How many folks
We
collaborated?
have 23 authors, 25 total strategies in this book.
All right. So let's, Laura, let's start with you and let's just get a quick introduction. Let's give an overview of who you are and your publishing company.
Thank you. So I'm the CEO of Brave Healer Productions. This book is the first book that's coming out from the imprint called Brave Business Books. And I'm super excited to be celebrating our first expert collaboration under Brave Business Books tonight. But you guys, I am a retired holistic physical therapist. That was my first 30-year career. And I dedicated myself to learning about holistic healing. But I was an entrepreneur pretty early on and learned a thing or two about business, always wanted to write a book. And so Brave Healer Productions is really those two things coming together. It's using a foundation of healing for every book we publish, because writing and publishing and promoting, launching a book, that's a healing journey, just like entrepreneurship is. So that's the short story, Scott.
I love it. I love it. And we're going to have Holly come in just a moment, introduce herself and talk about this. But let's talk about this brain trust that you've assembled, because let's talk about why you put this book together and chose the experts that you did, because there's a lot of books out there that have a lot of authors, and I've seen some of those, and it's like a collection of blogs, right? They just go, great, we've got 20 people, let's give me a blog and we'll publish it, and then you can have a thick business card to hand out when you go to the Rotary Club and talk. But this book has a different purpose. Can you let's talk about that, and then the experts.
Well, the why behind these collaborations, is big for me. I think that we go further together, and the people that said yes to this all had the same similar mission as I did. They understand where they were when they started. Man, would it have been cool to have a book like this when we all started our businesses and we had to make the mistakes and have some failures and learn the hard way and all of those things. So they stepped into this, not only just saying yes to the collaboration, but saying yes to that mission, helping people, get further in their businesses without making those mistakes, being able to make clear decisions about their business growth and which places they needed to pursue, what investments they need to make. I think we've all been there in that place where confusion sets in, overwhelm sets in, and then we're a little lost. What is the statistic, you guys? Like 90% of startups fail? I mean, it's high statistics. So there was a lot of why behind this.
Yeah, because they don't have a guidebook.
Exactly.
That's where they fail. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and just going back into this whole, um, the experts and, uh, well, Holly, I'm gonna have you introduce yourself, and we'll talk a little bit about just kind of the process that you went into to write the book. But when people start reading this book, first of all, if you look at the table of contents, you go, "Oh, this is orderly. There's different segments, and with each segment, there's steps." Then when you look at the chapter, there's a definite flow, and there's a personal story that starts with, and then there's strategy, and then there's this implementation phase. And so, Holly, let's have you give an introduction to yourself and talk about your process and the thought and kind of the direction that you got to go through when you started your writing process.
Yeah, so Holly Jean Jackson here. I'm a revenue and performance consultant. I've had my business for the last 6 years. This is my second book with Laura. My first was my solo book. This is my first collaboration book with Laura. And I've written another book with D. Scott Smith as well. So my third official book, which makes me feel like a real author finally. The process around writing, first of all, has been amazing with Laura as my publisher because Laura helps you get unstuck and have just the right clarity for the vision for the collaborations in such a way that it makes sense and there's structure and flow. What was really special and beautiful for many of us that were part of the last two books she published, the other one that was on the healing side as well as the business side, is we came together in upstate New York at this beautiful healing retreat. And in that retreat for writing, we had all these activities, both from a healing perspective, but also an inspiration perspective. And what was really neat was at the end of that, my flight got delayed to go home. And wow, you think that's terrible, but I wrote my whole chapter while I was delayed. And it was perfect. And I was like, this is great. And literally there wasn't that much that I changed after that other than small edits, and that's what we got, and it was perfect and just felt exactly right. And what I love about this book in particular is the structure around it. You guys know
Mhm.
I'm an SOP, a process person. I like things in order so that you can go big to give big in your business. And what the process and flow here is, you're telling a very personal story about your business that's related to the strategy and the tool that you're providing the reader. And it's around a very specific topic that we know in my part of the book is foundational business elements. And we talk about revenue. You talk about your business ATM and how to get hyper clarity around revenue. And my goodness, if I had this when I first started, wouldn't that be magical? It would just be absolutely magical. I'd be printing through the business ATM forever. So now it's on print and we have 25 of these, right, Laura? 25 strategies. It's amazing.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, so the whole process to me is very fascinating, and I was thinking about in all of our sciences, so physiology, biology, geology, right? They all end with the logy at the end, which is from the Greek logos. And the ancient Greeks had this concept of logos as an order to the universe, right? When they said logos, they meant, and that's why we put it at the end of all of our sciences, because there is an order. And again, Laura, when I was looking through the book, and fortunately, I got the advanced copy a while ago and was able to read through and kind of see this logic that you put into it. But we talked about at the beginning that you have a poem in there, which is kind of I'll say asynchronous with most business books, but it actually sets the tone for the whole book. And I asked if
Thank
you
you
would
for noticing.
and I asked
Yes.
if you would be willing to read a portion of that. And if people want to read the whole thing, which they should, then buy the book. And if you're on Amazon, it's right in it's that right down below in the carousel. You can just click add to cart. And so for yourself or for someone else, but here's the great thing about Amazon. Click add to cart, go in and put in the address of some friend of yours who is struggling with their business or is dreaming about a business, or they're a huge Shark Tank fan or Dragon's Den, and they have these dreams about starting a business. Don't let them fail, and just put their address in and send it to them, and then check in with them in about a week and see if they found something on their doorstep. So Laura, let's move into a poem.
Poetry slam. Poetry slam.
Poem. I love. I will read poems all day long. Quickly about the structure. I love that you asked about that and are talking about that. When I pulled all the chapters in, I was thinking about it and I was reading the titles and understanding the material, but I was also correlating it with stages of your business. You have the beginning, you've got the next stage, and then you've got later stages where you've made a couple of moves, right? And it did really fit right into foundational part 1, right? Strategies part 2, and then the long game. Like, we all want to stick around for a while. But here is the beginning of not business as usual. This is an ode to my visionary friends. We're not doing business as usual, and I want the world to know how you spend your days, the fire you hold in your hearts, hands, and souls, the steady gaze you keep on your goals, the glaze of passion you use as you mold your vision. Watch as your visionary friends consistently place and protect the vision of their legacy in one hand, while skillfully monitoring the pulse of the moment with the other, awake to every possibility. Your eyes are always on the prize of gratitude, your soul always seated in a powerful speed dial connection with the divine. You commit, persist, and persevere, wiping the tears, transforming limiting beliefs, doubt, shame, and fear into fuel. The strategy? To follow the brilliant, undeniable, relentless ache of your heart instead of your conditioned mind, to find your true self in the middle of what you've been told you should be. Now, this poem is much longer than that, but I wanted to give you a tease. I'm a spoken word poet, so most of my poems are 3, 4, 5 minutes long when I speak them. But that's a good taste, don't you think?
I got goosebumps. I'm excited. Ooh.
Good.
The book that Holly and I collaborated on, it really talks about isolation, and isolation is the killer. And when you work for yourself, when you have your own business, even if it's a side business, but especially when it becomes your main source of revenue to feed your family, that you need to surround yourself with people who will not let you fail. And you need to surround yourself with people who understand, because anyone who has been an entrepreneur will have heard this same thing from friends or family. It's like, hey, let's go to the beach. And you say, oh, I need to work. But don't you work for yourself? Can't you set your own hours? Because people don't understand. And I will just say that most people who are starting a business don't have that tribe of people around them. And the best way you can do it is get this book. So again, hit add to cart, go there. It's right on Amazon, and you can get the Kindle version. You can get the paper version. Look at the paper version. Hold that one up again. Let's take a look at that.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Look, there's something nice about, and I'll encourage people to buy the paper version, because this is a guidebook. This is not let's just sit down and read something on a Sunday afternoon. This is something that you're going to take notes in. You're going to add comments about your book, about your business, because in here, and Holly, I want to talk to you about your journey, because in the personal story, you talk about that siren call of going back to the corporate world. And that is and Laura, we're going to come back to you, and we're going to go through some of these mindset and limiting beliefs and all the stuff that gets in the way. But Holly, let's start with you and kind of that personal story of I mean, you went into your retirement account to do
Yeah.
this. So let's just go through a little bit about what this means, because people out there who need this book have gone through the exact same thing.
Yeah. Well, first of all, before I forget, the book cover here, right? So I love this. It makes me think of Guardians of the Galaxy. And we are your business guardians of the galaxy with your business guidebook. You have 25 strategies you can implement. So I'm just saying, like, that's
All right,
exciting
so
to me.
we'll have to put a playlist together then for this. If it's
And
Right.
we
gonna
do
be
have to shout out Melissa Henry, who is an author in this book, a branding expert, and she created Galaxy Girl. That's the
Yep.
name of the cover art. So
It's
Oh,
big
so
beautiful.
shout out to
awesome.
Melissa. Yes.
All right.
All right. But anyways, back to my revenue blunder. So my story that I share, and it's actually the first time I've publicly shared that whole story. I've done like little bits of it in podcast guesting interviews or even on my own podcast, but not quite in depth and as quite as emotional as it's shared in this book. So if you really want the full story, I highly recommend you get a copy. But basically, COVID happened. My business was accelerating. We were on an amazing growth trajectory. And at the time, I was located in California, which had tremendous government shutdowns. And I went from 100 to 0 overnight within a month. It was crazy. All my clients lost everything. A lot of them fell through the cracks of government aid and support. And I found myself really at the end of my rope, freaking out. I made the decision to move to the East Coast to be near family because nothing was tying me to California, and the limitations financially on business owners just weren't a fit. And my chapter starts with, what the hell am I gonna do?
And you were in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, I was. It
So you
was
couldn't have
really
found a
bad.
more expensive place to
I
live.
know.
Yeah, right. So financial pressure, high taxation,
Mhm.
crazy limitations on small business owners. And I was working with consultants tied to the local chamber that were like, you should just leave because it's going to be better for you somewhere else. And so I did. I moved, and alongside that, I found out about the CARES Act. And so for many of you, perhaps you, like me and many other small business owners, fell through the cracks of the support system, the financial support system during COVID. And you also found yourself borrowing against your retirement and betting on your business and betting on yourself in a bigger way than you ever expected you would be. So I did that, and I borrowed, it was like $67,000 for my retirement. So not a small amount. And while I did that, it was kind of embarrassing. It was, I felt a lot of shame. I felt a lot of fear. But at the same time, I felt a lot of relief because I needed to know that I had money to survive and invest to continue figuring out the business. So I did that. And, once I did that and felt the relief, I said, okay, well, we've done worse. We've made worse bets. I guess we're all in on this. And I
Mhm.
went back to my foundations, and the strategy and the tool that I teach in there around your compass and your business ATM is how I pulled out of that hole. And now business is growing 118% this year. And we're celebrating over 6 years in business. We have served hundreds of small business owners, speakers, authors, nonprofit leaders, people that are building legacies that are, healing the world. But man, that was not fun. It was very scary. And so for those of you who have gone through that, I see you, I hear you. I have fully repaid my retirement and then some, and dug out of that hole. But it is a lofty and scary thing. But at the same time, I'm very grateful it happened because it forced me early on to triple down on my belief and faith in my business, myself, and the tools and strategies that we've used to get here.
And I want to come back and talk about your strategies,
Mhm.
because again, we're fortunate to have you here today with Laura as one of the experts who collaborated on this book. And it's going to give people a glimpse into what they're going to get when they look at the whole book and they go through from the foundations to the growth of their business. But I want to come back to you because I have talked to so many business owners who hear this catchphrase on Shark Tank I'm in pre-revenue stage. Uh, and it's like, yes, you've been doing this for 5 years and you're still not making money. And life is not about making money. However,
Yeah.
you still got to pay the bills. You still got to buy the
Yeah.
food. You still got
And
to
you
get
don't have a
revenue.
business if you're not earning money. I
Right.
hate to
Yeah.
say that to you guys, but you don't have a business if you're not earning money.
That's
That's true
hobbies.
for this.
There's lots of hobbies out there.
Yeah.
So, Laura, let's talk about some of these early chapters, because I think it's different than what people think, because so many people, this is what I hear. I'm going to start a business. Great. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to go out to this domain purchasing place, and then I'm going to go here. I'm going to build this website, and I'm going on to Fiverr, and I'm going to get a logo made up. And I'm like, yeah, those are all things that surround a business, but not any of them are a business unless you're the person creating logos and selling them to people. But let's talk about the early foundations, the early chapters in the book.
Yeah, the business foundations. You're also making me just want to remind everyone, I asked every single author to start their chapter with a quote that was about, if they had to start over, what advice would they have given themselves in the very beginning? Even just if you read through the quotes at the beginnings of each
Mhm.
chapter, you will get golden nuggets, you guys. The business foundations in part one, I started with storytelling. Stories connect us. If you can tell a story, you can sell. And it's really, really important. I could have put my chapter into the strategies section, but I needed to be chapter one, so I am. But after that, mindset, and I write about mindset in every single thing I write because it's foundational. Carrie Dale it wrote an incredible chapter about mindset.
Mhm.
We've got your vision audit. I mean, if you don't have a vision big enough that other people want to help you build it, it's not going to fly, right? You're going to feel very alone. And we've got I don't know. Do you want me to read the rest of them? How do you want to do
Let
this?
me read the quote. Let me read her quote, Carrie,
Oh, sure.
right there at the beginning. Dream it, and live it. She says, "If I could do it all over again, I'd align my dreams with my mindset from the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring every step moved me closer to the life I always imagined." And in coaching sports, we always said that the body follows the head and the head follows the eyes, right? So where are you looking? And that as soon as I read her quote, that's what I'm thinking of. It's like,
Yeah.
whatever you're looking at, that's the direction you're going to go. And she said, when she started, she wasn't aligned. She was looking at the wrong things.
I think a lot of us would probably had that problem a little bit. Sometimes I don't even think we know what we want. And so there's some foundational questions to ask yourself. And can I just shout you out, Holly, for a minute? Because not
Whoa.
everybody will talk about revenue or the investments that they make, or it feels like these secret things that we hide from everybody. But your chapter also feels like something we all need to talk about. The where we pulled the money from, because we had that passion and belief in ourselves. We just said one day, no, we're not going to fail here. Like, I'm going to do what it takes. So I just want to call you out for being a badass and being vulnerable about that story,
Mhm.
because I know a lot of people have nodded their heads to that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yes, you're welcome. But mindset, vision. I love Anne's title. Soulpreneurs who can sell are changing the world. Like, she's our
Mhm.
sales expert, right?
Mhm.
Processes, systems, your taxes, your revenue clarity, Holly's chapter. How are you going to attract the right clients? System success, you guys. Oh my God, if I could go back. When Holly said SOPs earlier, the S word, right? And we've had people like, what are SOPs? And I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
SOPs. I am now in love with SOPs,
Well,
right? So
revenue, I
revenue.
remember being called in. This guy had started a used bookstore selling used books, right? He had been a government employee his entire career, and he retired, and he took money and he started this bookstore. And he had never run a business. The only bookstore experience that he had is that he had been in them, and then he hired as his manager a person who had been a cashier at a Barnes and Noble. Right? And that was her business experience was using a cash register at a bookstore. So anyway, they called me in and I came and talked to him. The first question that I asked was, and looking around at the store, what's your break-even point? Right? How many books do you need to sell just to break even, pay the rent and your employee and all that stuff? No clue. Hadn't even thought that was important. And we say the math always has to work. The math has to work. And this is what I love about your book is that you're not backing away from the hard issues there.
I mean, for sure, these are some of the biggest lessons I've learned. And you asked me earlier, how did I invite these particular people?
Right.
Well, these particular people are covering areas that I learned the hard way in. And so I knew the branding was a piece. I knew the systems was a piece. I knew the revenue was a piece. I didn't know any of that when I started. And you need a team. You need a village. You need people around you. Oh my gosh, please hire the finance team and you will be successful. Right? So if you're trying to do everything yourself and you have no idea what you're doing, guess what's going to happen? Right. So, and I love, this is so much more than a book, you guys. This is a generous community of people who are invested in your success. That is what I love the most about the people that came in here and said yes to this, because they feel the same way. They've been there, done that as well.
Such a great way to put it. And again, I'm going to put the slide up here because I want people to see, this is the book, The Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook. Brave Strategies for Authentic Success. And this is written by experts who have collaborated in a very orderly fashion to help you grow your business, to start or grow your business, or in some cases, rescue a business. And Holly, you talked about legacy as well. And let's expand a little bit on this, because businesses can pay the bills if you're getting revenue and so forth. But you talked about your company and some of the things that you're doing, because you're actually creating a legacy. You're creating something that can go beyond you working in it.
Yeah. It's funny we're talking about this today because we're about to do a rebrand, because currently my business is my name and we have so many systems and SOPs and team members that
And
this
tell
is
people what
big.
SOPs are, because
Standard operating procedures. They're sexy. You need them in your business. It makes your life easier. It also makes your business scalable and sellable and repeatable, and makes hiring so much easier and more magical, because then you have things to train against. But systems and standard operating procedures help you generate more revenue and help your sales team feel supported, because then they have templates and steps that they can follow. And I love talking about SOPs now, because they are the sexiest thing in your business. And I know people are like rolling their eyes, but they really are.
so
But
that's the S in SOP, right?
yes,
Yeah.
capital S and SOP.
Sexy operating procedures.
Yeah. So you asked earlier, though, about the tool and strategy.
Yeah.
And so the tool and strategy are very interlinked. So you've got the tool is the life and business compass, and that's directly correlated with legacy, because in that you are defining your top 5 life priorities and being very, very specific on how successful alignment and living to those 5 priorities look. So if you say health is a priority, great. What does that mean? Are you working out 5 days a week? Are you working on whatever? Hip flexibility. So clarifying that. And then your 3 quarterly business goals that you're going after and making sure they're measurable, specific, smart, all the things. But then across the top is your long-term motivating factor. That's the thing that you want your legacy to be about. That's the thing that you get out of bed that you're super excited about, that you're building belief and borrowing faith against forever. And that's really ultimately your vision as well. Your belief, your vision, your legacy should be that big motivating factor. And so for me, that is both helping small business owners go big to give big, but also it is helping build this nonprofit for future entrepreneurs and young people to have that right mindset starting at the age of 13 to 16 and access to those skills. Now, when you have your life compass and you're that clear and you actually use it to say yes to things that are on your compass and no to everything else, you stop backing yourself into the corner of busyness and open room for business so that you actually can build that legacy and momentum and get traction. Beneath that is also what I call your business ATM. If you also lean into staying aligned to your compass and making a list of all your existing customers, past customers, existing partners for collaboration, future partners for collaboration, and your fan base, your champions, and you reach out to them, you will never run out of business because you'll get introductions to warm contacts, warm connections, warm leads for those sales conversations. And this shifts the whole dynamic of sales and revenue, and it makes it magical.
This is an important thing, and Laura, I want to come back to you on this one because Donnie has a segment in there about about networking, because a lot of people think they'll start a business and then the first thing they want to jump into is paid advertising. And
good luck with that.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And they're going like, and so they read these articles. They say the things like Nike never talks about their product. They never talk about, it's all lifestyles and all that stuff. And I'm like, great, you're not Nike. You know, when you've put $1 trillion into your advertising beforehand, you can kind of coast on just a little swoosh, right? And people understand. You haven't done that yet as you started your business. The reason I mentioned his section on networking following, because Holly, you mentioned this about leaning into your customers and so forth, is that I've done some writing on networking, and I tell people, you already have a fabulous network filled with remarkable people who want you to succeed. They just need to know what problem you solve and who you solve it for. But Donnie had some very specific things, and the title of his chapter is great. And Laura, I'm going to let you take it from there, because it is a right in the heart of the book.
Yes, I'm super happy to shout Donnie Bovine out, chapter 12, networking that doesn't suck.
Yes, please,
how to grow your influence with key partnerships. This is a genuine shout out to him for changing my mindset around networking, because I really hated it before I met him. And I love networking now. So for someone to give me some strategy that took me from hating it to loving it is pretty badass, right? And really, it comes down to switching from how, meeting people so you can sell your stuff to them, to meeting people and seeing what you can do for them. You give first, develop relationships with people, make introductions that change their world. Networking is about building somebody else's business, and that builds yours. And that is a couple of words about a big topic with a lot of strategy to it, but it's that foundational piece. When I switched it and switched my mindset about it and went into conversations, networking rooms, lunches, whatever I was doing, everything changed. This helped me bring a business and turn it into an empire.
An empire.
Yeah.
There we go.
It is an empire.
This is even if people just read Donnie's story, his personal story, you will have something actionable to take away from that. because the reason, I mean, we hate networking events because someone reaches out their hand and says, "Hi, I'm Scott. What's your name?" But what they're actually saying is, "Hi, I'm Scott. How can I make money off of you?"
Right.
And that's the sleazy feeling that they're like, we don't want to be a part of that.
No,
Um,
it's the wrong
and
energy. It sets you
yeah,
up for the wrong conversation, and it just, no go.
but he goes into his story about actually listening to the person, finding out what they're involved in and what they like about it and so forth. And then because he was connected to some other folks, he said, "Wow, can I introduce you to these people?" And then he finds out later that it worked out really well. He wasn't getting a finder's fee. He wasn't doing anything other than just doing what you do, build relationships. This is why people told me, "Scott, you got to learn to play golf," because, a lot of golf is conducted on the golf course. Well, there's nothing magical about golf. It's just people with common interests spending time together. And oh, by the way, Laura's publishes books. Holly, you've been a TEDx speaker. You've got some stuff to share. Maybe the two of you can collaborate. And I'm the hero in that one. And I go home and I'm like, guess what I did today?
It's fun,
And,
right? Getting
this is
comments like that.
and this is
Yeah.
what's happening in this book right here. This is a #1 bestseller, by the way. And Laura, let's just have you talk about what it means to be a bestseller book, because not everyone can just claim that, but
Well,
it's right there.
we love being a #1 bestseller on Amazon. We hit #1 in 3 of our ebook categories for Amazon for this book, and we hit a bestseller in all 6 of the categories that we listed the book in. And that, honestly, this is a gratitude for our book launch team, because we don't just, this isn't a crapshoot. I really put some energy and effort into building the community around these books, the people that believe in us and want to read and want to learn from us. And they come and they buy the book and they help us out. And I have so much gratitude to these people in the Brave Healer community, Brave Business Books community for this one. They come back and they read our titles and they're part of that. And they are amazing.
Yeah, it's no small accomplishment. And but the community is there. The content has to be good. The quality has to be there. And we've gone through some of these different strategies, and kind of with the mindset. And we're going to start to kind of wind down here, but I want people to be encouraged to buy the book right here. Get this book. Hit add to cart, buy it, buy a couple of copies. And again, buy the paper copy, because you're going to want to take notes in it. And then when you find that friend that is struggling in a business, wants to start a business, and you listen to them like Donnie did, listen to what they're saying, then open that up and write a little note of encouragement in that front cover. And that person is going to keep that book, because you listened to what they said and you said, I know you're struggling with your business. You're trying to find clients. And you turn to Donnie's section and you go, look, you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. You hate going there. It's because, look at me. Let me read this story to you. And you go,
Well, Scott, this
learn
is
from
a
them.
networking group in a book too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you guys you're getting all the strategies, generous, practical things you can put into place in the day you read the book, basically. But then you've got that many people waiting for you to reach out and make a relationship with them. And they're going to make introductions for you too. It's the best part about these expert collaborations, I think.
This is it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of masterminds. And to get connected to the experts in this book and to get the recommendations and referrals, you're talking like a $5,000 to $15,000 investment in a mastermind if you were going to get that. $25 for the paperback, right? Buy 3 of them, 1 for yourself and 2 for friends, because you're
Thank
going to
You
want
want to know what I did?
What'd you do?
So I gifted 15 ebook copies to people in my network that have a problem with a strategy that we solve in here. And I bought 15 author copies for collaboration partners that I'm going to send personally signed copies to. You want to know how I'm going to use this? Because I'm going to use it too, because that would be stupid not to, because I've met like at least 10 of these people and they're brilliant. I'm going to take one strategy a week and see what I need to implement in my business. If you do that, you've got 25 of these, 25 weeks of business development, y'all. 25 weeks. It's a mastermind in a box. You'd be
I
crazy
love
not
that
to
you
do
guys
it.
get this. Both of you. I love that Scott gets the idea of the mastermind and how much people invest, right? And what we can have in this. I'm a paperback gal too, by the way, Scott. Like I love touching
The
it and I
smell.
love dog earing it. And yeah,
Yep.
I know. What's up with that?
Yeah. And
It might be a little weird.
It's got that silky cover.
It
feel,
does.
right?
It
You know, it's
does.
just
And
like,
the weight of it, the weight of the
ooh.
knowledge. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
sleep next to it. Maybe it'll like seep into my brain.
Yeah, I process by writing and being
Me
able to
too.
make notes and do these things and then add it into your journal. And I encourage people to do that as well.
Yeah.
Start your day off, right? Read through a chapter and think about your business and then write down what are the things that you're going to implement today, right? Are you going to go through and do that audit? Because when we're talking about your mindset, your vision, your goals, your values, and then you look at your calendar for the week and you go, okay, I'm doing things that don't move me forward, and just immediately cancel those things.
And you want to know something really
You
cool?
need to audit that.
I'm gonna do a shout out here to somebody that we know here.
And I
who
was
is your-
going to do
yeah,
that
your
too.
son. Yeah,
I'm
like
so glad.
he's doing
Ooh.
standard operating procedures because he understands sexiness is really
Yes,
important.
those sexy operating
But
procedures.
if you're going to use this book, the end of each chapter not only has a link to a freaking amazing tool and strategy, it has contact information of each of these experts.
Right.
Again, if you did this one a week, 25 weeks of exponential business growth, starting with Laura's son, who has an incredible starting business, like incredible. Come on, guys.
So what's his business?
It's called System Success Pro, and it's going to give business owners a program to house the index library of SOPs that allows them to have the freedom they signed up to be an entrepreneur with in the first place, right? Like we all wanted that freedom. We just didn't realize that we needed to get the systems in place to have it. And this is going to give that to people with ease. Oh my gosh, I'm excited about it. And I love you, bud. The shout out to you for just grabbing my hand. Like, you know, who gets to do that with their kid? He is amazing, smart, funny, very smart, talented guy. And this business is gonna be amazing.
And he has 2 webinars coming up. So if you guys are smart, you'll grab the book now, you'll look at his website, and you'll sign up for those.
Yes.
Shazam.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that.
You're
That's
welcome.
great. That's great. Yeah. You know, it's people want to start a business. They don't know where to start. And I tell them, think back. And again, this goes back to auditing your calendar. I said, look back over the last month or 2 months or when somewhere along the line, someone called up and said, hey, Holly, I need to grow more revenue in my business. And they called Holly because they know she has expertise in this and she solved their problem. So somewhere along the line, somebody called you up, asked you a question, you solved it because you have expertise. Then the next question is ask yourself, do other people get paid to answer this question? If so, you just might have a business. Get the guidebook and go from beginning to end. Holly just laid out a very beautiful strategy to go through and connect to these experts. The contact information is right there in the book. And I can't imagine that any one of your expert collaborators, Laura, would not welcome someone requesting a LinkedIn connect. Say, hey, I bought the book. I read your chapter. Can I connect with you?
Yes, 100%. These aren't newbie networkers either. They understand the value of relationships and they are here to serve people really from their hearts. Again, just very lucky to be playing in the sandbox with people like this. It's a business book, but we come from a heart-centered place. And that's why it says brave strategies for authentic success. The words brave and authentic are in there because you can buy a million success business books and you'll never get what you get in here from these people.
You heard the poetry slam. This is our leader here.
Right
This is
there.
our leader here.
Right
So
there at
yes.
the beginning, yeah.
I love that poetry.
Yeah, it's believe in yourself, and know that you're going to have a hard time. So don't go it alone. Don't go isolated. Buy this book right here. Let's put this back up. Here's the book. Add to cart. Buy several copies of it. Buy the paper copies. Dog ear it. Put notes in it right there. The Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook. It's everything that you need for not $25,000, but just $25. You're going to get a huge pool of expertise for people who have made those mistakes. Learn from others, learn from their own mistakes, put it together in the book, and you've got this complete guidebook. It's titled well. Holly, let's have you give some final thoughts, and then Laura, we'll let you get the last words before we sign off.
Yeah, I would say be brave, be bold. If you found this inspiring, get a copy. The holidays are coming up. Share this with your business friends and build your tribe and do this together. And why not even create a reading group around this so you can implement your strategies together, a mastermind within a mastermind.
I love
Have
it.
fun with it. Thanks, Scott.
That's a good way to do it. We're winding down. We got 2 months left in this year. Make 2025 the year that you accelerate. And maybe that's going to be the word of the year is accelerate. And you can do it with this guidebook. Laura,
And
let's
start now.
Start
today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Don't wait until 25. I'm saying we got 2 months now. So load it up.
Yep.
Build your network. I love this idea of starting a mastermind book club around this.
Yeah,
Because then
perfect
you
for
aren't
that.
alone. And maybe you can each find the different people that you resonate with as the experts in the book and reach out and connect and bring them in. You just never know what's going to happen when you just reach out to somebody. So Laura, let's have you wind it up and send them out high-fiving and
All right. I love
in.
that book club idea, by the way. And I want to wind down by reading the paragraph in the end of the book. If you want to take your business to empire level, at some point you'll need to get over your purpose-driven fears, invest in yourself, your vision, and your business, and take the action your soul is yearning for you to take. You are not alone. Your message and work matter. You're worthy. That fear of not good enough is boring. This isn't about you anymore. It's about the life you'll save when you share your brave words. It's time to be brave. Build your business, you guys.
Beautiful.
Goosebumps.
All right, there it is. The Complete Small Business Growth
Yay.
Guidebook. Add to cart. Buy a handful of copies. Christmas is coming. The holidays are coming. The gift giving season is here. Give yourself a gift. Build your business. Do like Holly did and gift the electronic versions. Those can get to people right away, and then they can use their journaling to take notes. And then the best advice, believe in yourself and create a mastermind. Surround yourself with people who will not let you fail. Thank you to everybody for watching. And with that, we are signing off from Amazon Live.